Good morning. I hope all is well with everybody. I hope you and your family are blessed on this fine Saturday, beautiful Saturday morning. But anyway, I know everybody saw the clip that went viral with the lady, the teacher, and the young adult. All right, and a lot of people had really negative things to say. Like some people were, because if that was my child, I would have da-da-da-da-da. You don't put your hands on nobody's children and da-da-da-da-da. What else? People that were referring to the little girl, that's just too disrespectful. I would have hit her too, da-da-da-da-da. That's what's wrong with the generation. I'm so tired of hearing that, but da-da-da-da-da. And honestly, and the truth is, that's a beautiful house and a beautiful car. Mama. Anyways, but the truth is, we have to realize that, one, we are living in a sad time where the unthinkable and the abnormal is normal. Two, we are also living in the times where people not raising their children. People are leaving Facebook, TikTok, Twitter, Instagram, YouTube, the bums on the street, their mama, their grandma, their auntie Susan. They're using everybody else to raise their children and not themselves. Right? So, and then that's the second thing. The third thing is we also have women who don't want to be grandmas. I don't want to be a grandma. I look too good to be a grandmother. We have people who, and I mean, honestly, when a person decides to have a child, that really is that person's responsibility. However, you know, it's just a human nature to be kind and courteous to people and help people when you see that they need it. But again, we're living in a time to where things that were normal and were seen as normal and were done by our elders are not done by us. And that's because, again, some of our elders aren't raising these babies. I mean, some of our elders didn't raise their kids, and now that's spiraling down, you know, from all kind of stuff. You know, not just trying to be in the world. Some people have addiction. Some people have diseases. Some people have things that they can't, you know, there's nothing that nobody can do. You know, that's your mama, but she had cancer. She passed away. That's not nobody's fault. But the issue comes at hand when we all, instead of us trying to figure out what to do with the youth, figure out how to bring the youth in a better position than what they are. We want to talk about them, and we want to say that that's the problem, and this is that, and da-da-da-da-da. When honestly, this stuff stems down from generation to generation to generation. It was written. And in the book, you know, I always talk about. Go read it if you don't think if you think I'm lying. But we can't continue to put off things like this and all want to put it in the box of put all of it in the box of that's what's wrong with this generation. Because obviously we see that is going nowhere. When are we going to be like, okay, well, I see that this is a problem with the generation. So this is what I'm going to do to try to fix that problem with the generation. Nobody is really, I'm not going to say nobody, because there's several people who have coming up with remedies and things to help us. But nobody balls back down to the generational curses. Nobody want to be told what to do. Nobody don't want to be told how to handle certain situations. So if everybody is walking this earth feeling like, who are you to tell me anything? These kind of situations are going to keep occurring. People dying innocently, they're going to keep dying. Because nobody wants to be told what to do, what to say, how to act. So, I'm going to say something that you probably heard your entire life. It's better right to spoil a child. It's better right to spoil a child. You don't spend enough time with your child. That's sparing the right to spoiling a child. You don't have intellectual conversations with the youth. That's sparing the right and that's spoiling a child. We don't have many positive PTA meetings and teacher meetings. Sometimes I really think it's best for teachers and parents to meet. Y'all leave the children on the playground. Y'all know how when we was in school we used to have parent-teacher night, and you'll go. Some kids will go with their parents, the kids that were doing what they were supposed to do. But if you knew you wasn't doing what you were supposed to do, you didn't even tell your mom about the parent-teacher conference because you don't want her to go, because you know if she go, she ain't gonna come back with a good report. We need to start putting other things like that in place, and it needs to be more frequently than it is. Parent-teacher conference shouldn't be once or twice every blue moon or every year. Parent-teacher conference needs to be at least 3 to 6 months out of the year. That means I need to see you more than once or twice throughout this entire year. Do y'all realize that there are some parents who are not active at all? They have some parents who don't. Oh, okay, all right. I thought he was mind my business. That's my problem. It's mind my business. But there are some parents who never, and when I say never, I mean never so strongly. They have a million and trillion other things to do than to be bothered with a teacher's conference. And that, again, brings me back to what I said a few minutes ago. That's sparing the right and that's spoiling the child. Y'all gotta, that term in the Bible means, it's more in depth than what y'all think it is. A lot of things a lot of situations can happen when you don't give your children the necessary attention that children crave. Meaning, 2 and 3-year-olds want to tap you on the shoulder. Look what I can do. And do something that they feel is fantastic and no other kid can do, even though we know Sally down the street could do that too. That's not the point. The point is, when you deprive your children at an early age when you deprive your children of love and affection and care and attention at an early age, you are forcing them to be, an adult ahead of their time. A child is supposed to be a child. A child is supposed to think like a child, talk like a child, and act like a child. But once you start giving your child adult decisions and adult moves, you can't expect them not to act like an adult. Because they're going to feel like, what? You telling me something now? You ain't telling me nothing in years. You feel what I'm saying? Or this is what I feel helps me. This is what I feel I need. When you deprive your children of certain things, when they get, you're ultimately pushing them to make this. You're ultimately pushing them to make decisions that they shouldn't even be making yet. Like nowadays, and it's okay. I'm not saying it's not okay, but I wasn't able to comb my hair until I was 14. When I was 14 years old, that's when I started combing my own hair. Now, granted, my mama can't do no hair. Call a spade a spade. Fat can't do no hair. So, gratefully, I was always equipped with people in my family or people that I knew for long periods of time to be able to comb my hair and do my hair. And I didn't have to. But see, it goes back to not being a parent. If your child has to get up every day and figure out what they're going to eat, figure out where they're going to go after school, figure out what they're going to wear, figure out things that they shouldn't have to figure out being a child, when they go move in this world, they're going to start moving like it's just me. I may have a mother and a father, but I wasn't raised with my mother and my father. Like I wasn't raised with somebody over my shoulder. To be honest, and I'm really being honest, you need somebody over your shoulder. And I'm going to be honest, you need somebody over your shoulder until you're about 30 years old. And honestly, some people that are 30 years old, you can tell that they never had anyone over their shoulder by the way that they act. So, long story short, I've been on here 11 minutes and I've been explaining this for 11 minutes and I really wasn't trying to make this long. But, long story short, every action has a reaction. And sadly, even though it was written, and even though we have went thousands of years still spiraling down this rabbit hole that we were taught was wrong. And we're not going to start seeing any type of anything until we start correcting and start unlearning and actually start teaching our youth. And also, one thing I do want to say, with teachers, y'all job is a little bit more important. And this is why it's important. This is why. Because in the classroom, it's not just that child. You feel what I'm saying? There's other children in that classroom, right? So with that being said is you have not only that child to attend to, other children to attend to. So it can be hard trying to, do too much at once. But teachers, y'all have to ultimately realize, and a lot of y'all go to school for years and years and years, so it really don't make no sense how you don't understand communication. And certain words spark certain actions. Certain words spark certain things. Prime example. It's what you say to a child. It's how you speak to a child to let them know that they're still a child. There is what I'm basically trying to say is it's ways that you can talk a situation that can go here to here. And I had to realize that the hard way. Because I was always a person, I'm going to tell you how I feel. But what you have to realize is when you open your mouth and you tell that person how you feel, that person has the same free will to open up their mouth and tell you how they feel. So it is important to use certain words in certain atmospheres. Words can de-escalate a situation. Wordplay. And nowadays, that I feel like that's what's missing. Because we always want to tell people off and tell people what they ain't gonna do and what they gonna do. How about we tell people, okay, I'm gonna tell you my boundaries, and I'm gonna tell you what I want to tolerate and what I won't tolerate. I'm not gonna put my hands on you, and I'm not gonna talk to you like you a nigga on the street. And you ain't gonna talk to me, and you ain't gonna put your hands on me like I'm a nigga on the street. We're gonna respect each other. We're gonna build a boundary that respects each other. And I just feel with that little whole thing, if certain words were in place, that wouldn't have happened. And then you have to think about what the teacher said. See, I don't know if y'all saw her video. She said her children would never, because she raised her children the right way. Again, you have to realize that most of these children are not being raised the right way or being raised at all. So most of these children are raising themselves. So when you have situations like that where children are raising themselves and doing everything for themselves, it's a way you gotta come at that baby. Because that baby feel like, you only here to teach me for a few hours. You only here to tell me a few things. You don't know what I'm really dealing with at the house, fat. You don't know what I'm really battling in my mind. So for those children, it's wordplay. And the reason why I'm saying this is because I had to figure out stuff the hard way. Again, like I said, I'm from Louisiana, New Orleans. So believe it or not, I'm playing with wordplay all day. Because I'm living in one of the major cities that'll cut your throat open for nothing. I want to go home, and you want to go home. You want to go home the same way you left home, and I want to go back home the same way I left home. So if we all keep that type of mentality, and if we all try to figure out certain word plays to de-escalate certain situations, and parents will be parents and do what parents are supposed to do, we wouldn't have this problem. I know it took me 17 minutes and 45 seconds to say that, but all of this leads, I had to let y'all understand how all of this led up to where we at right now. And my lips are extremely dry, but this word is extremely wet. But I love y'all, and I hope y'all doing good, and I hope y'all take what I said and not just listen to it. Actually take it and use it in your everyday life to make situations like this not happen again. Stay in y'all bag, definitely stay in the Bible. And let's all try to do better as human beings. Because that situation is not just on the teacher, and that situation is not just on the little girl. Honestly, I'm going to be honest, both of them played a part. Because that mother have to realize that, yeah, you are a mother before you're a teacher. But you got to know what roles to play in certain situations. Granted, yeah, the child may have hit you first. I could go on about that, because if you pay attention to the video, you can really see that she really wasn't trying to hit the little girl. She was kind of trying to restrain her. And if you don't know what restraining is, you have to go look that up. But I think we need to bring that back in schools too. Don't put your hands on them. Don't fight them back. Restrain them. And when you're restraining them, you recite love into them. Why are you this upset? You have to hit me. You can't talk to me like a human being. You feel what I'm saying? When you make people think about what they do, see, that's another thing. Nigga don't like to think. Don't make you think about what you do before you do it. Because in all actuality, that's what we're supposed to do. That's what you need to do. But a lot of people, they don't think, they just do it. That's another reason why I said wordplay. Because when you use words, Words ultimately make you think. And certain words, certain words and certain words said a certain way will make you think. That's what I was trying to say. Well, no, I was really trying to say paraphrase, but I just did away with it. But stay in your bed, stay in your Bible, and let's all try to become better people and human beings. That way stuff like this wouldn't happen. Let's all try to figure out tactics and ways to make this stuff like this never happen again. I love y'all. Y'all be blessed.